Hey LEGO fans, gamers, and comic fans. Today's LEGO video is a little bit different than what you've been seeing. In case you didn't know this about me, Amber and I love the Flash show. She's actually busy doing chores, so I sneaked off to do this video. Anyway, we really like this show a lot, and one character in particular really has piqued our interest, Dr. Harrison Wells. Also, he's a brand new character created just for the series, by the way. Still, that hasn't stopped many fans of The Flash and the TV show to theorize whom Wells really is. It's pretty exciting, actually, to speculate, and I'm actually going to throw my 2 cents into the ring as well. I still think that Dr. Harrison Wells is the man in the yellow suit, and not Eddie or anybody else, and this is why. See, Eddie Thawne, who I believe that's how you say his name, is from the comics and was one of the Reverse Flashes. But in the show, he's a completely different person altogether. He's still confused about metahumans, he has no healing ability, and almost died because of the Clock King shooting him. At the end of episode 8, Eddie also is given a task force to stop the Flash. So the only connection to the comics is Eddie still hates the Flash, but he has no powers to fight him. And while he was kind of a big brother-like figure to Barry, he never believed the streak was real. Until Barry went crazy when he faced that one metahuman and, ripped Eddie out of a moving car. So Eddie in the comics, just so you know, he was a super fan of Barry Allen from the future. He recreates the experiment that made Barry the Flash and then travels back in time to meet his hero. But some stuff goes wrong and he goes insane when he realizes that he becomes the Flash's greatest nemesis, Reverse Flash. Okay, so back to Dr. Wells. Many folks think he could be a new god who uses his chair to travel through time. And if you don't know who the new gods are, they're like this super being that are at war with Apocalypse and Darkseid. The new god that most people think Wells would be is Metreon. Some say it's also a tougher Booster Gold than we're accustomed to, who's trying to do everything he can to make sure the timeline remains intact no matter what. It doesn't matter who he kills or what he has to do, his mission is to keep Barry safe until Crisis. Or another fun theory is Wells is a future family member like Bart Allen or Wally West from the future. Something like that. I really don't think that's the case though. See, CW is actually being really clever with this, and even with the Reverse Flash's reveal this Tuesday, the audience and Barry still won't see his face, which will lead to even more speculation, which is awesome. However, based on the many clues that we've been given and time travel in general, which is confusing to begin with, I think that there are 2 Dr. Harrison Wells. The present day Wells that's in Star Labs and we see in the wheelchair, and the second one who gained the Flash's powers and ran to the past and murdered Barry's mother, thus setting the events that we have now, creating the Flash, so that Barry could later save the multiple universes during Crisis. Where, if you don't know, it was a Crisis on Infinite Earths. Barry ran really fast to save everyone in all the known realities and then died. So how does Wells get Flash's powers? And I'm glad you guys are thinking this. Originally, I thought it was during the explosion at Star Labs in the pilot episode, because Harrison wasn't crippled and it showed that he had some type of healing factor. But I think that actually happens to him later, after he uses the blood that he steals from Blackout. You know, the bad guy who could steal Barry's powers with electricity and being all vampire-like. Though the power proved too much for Blackout and he died. Honestly, I don't know how Harrison Wells has access to all the future tech. At first I thought maybe there was like a wormhole instance and he got a hold of like one newspaper talking about Wayne and Queen Industries merging and Barry vanishing during the Crisis. However, Wells also knew how to create the Flash's experiment that made him the Flash, and knows the identity of Arrow during the Justice Leaguers, like when he was able to learn that Oliver Queen was actually Green Arrow during the Flash vs. Arrow episode. And some people are probably like, how did Wells do that? It's because he has future tech, that's how. That and in Blackout, we learned that Wells has been talking with an AI unit called Gideon, whom I really wanted him to say Skeets, but he called it Gideon. And he's been documenting all his activities to Gideon since the particle accelerator meltdown. What's funny is Gideon is actually the name of a new god in the Pre-52 universe, if you didn't know that. He's a cranky general guy and not, the girl computer. Wells has also stated that his most important creation is the Flash, and he will do everything he can to keep Barry Allen safe until the Crisis, even if it means murder. because Barry must save everything in the known galaxy. Without Barry, the Earth is doomed. Harrison Wells knows this, but how far is he willing to go? We see how crazy Harrison got when, after Barry lost his power, how the newspapers changed about Crisis. Could he be desperate enough to use the formula and become a speedster himself? I think so. Now you might be asking, time travel hurts my head, and it hurts my head too, but how does Harrison Wells discover who Reverse Flash is? How does he know it's him? Well, Felicity, remember, installed some new face recognition software last time she visited and called it an early Christmas gift for Star Labs. And the character who will later become the Vibe is like, whoa, Cisco's really excited, about all this new tech. My theory is the yellow flash will be vibrating and his face and voice will disguise his identity, but Wells will use Gideon and Felicity's tech to discover who the evil Flash is. When he sees his own face under the mask, Wells is gonna snap and go insane, much like how the Reverse Flash did in the comics after traveling back in time to meet Barry. Think about it. Everything Harrison Wells has done in his entire life, losing his wife, creating the particle accelerator explosion, is for the Flash to grow up and save everyone. All the people he's killed and will kill is for the sole purpose of saving all reality. But most importantly, Harrison Wells is the guy who killed Barry Allen's mother. Well, future Wells did, not present day wheelchair doctor. He's not good or bad yet, he's just a scientist. In order to gain control of his life though, I think Dr. Wells will go back in time to kill Barry Allen, to prevent everything from happening so that Wells will actually have a future instead of just being the Flash's nemesis. Though the Flash prevents this and rescues himself as a child, running him miles away from Harrison during the attack on Nora. Now remember, in the pilot, you don't see just the yellow stuff around Nora. You see a red blur as well. And then the red blur is what takes little Barry outside of the house. It's not the yellow one. But by the time Barry gets back, his mother is dead. I think what happens after Harrison gets out of his little fit and, realizes what he has to do, he knows that there's really no way to save all reality without Nora Allen dying. So going back to normal, he then uses the opportunity after Barry saves himself to kill his mom, thus preserving the future and becoming a villain. So it's actually kind of a sad outcome if this is what's really gonna happen, because, the man is responsible for saving all known realities, but he's the guy who killed Barry's mom. Let's really think about this. Yes, he's the guy who's responsible for killing Barry's mother, but without the death of Barry's mom, like we saw in Flashpoint, where Barry tried to go back and save his mother and then everything got messed up because of all the events that were tied to her death, Barry would not have pushed himself to save everyone. First and foremost, he wouldn't have become a cop, and he would never have been in the room to get zapped by lightning to begin with. Then later, when the red skies come, everyone and everything would die. The Flash would not be there either, so Superman probably wouldn't be able to stop it, and no other real heroes would have been created at all, especially in the universe that the Flash and Arrow take place, because the particle accelerator is responsible for creating the metahumans. Wow, my head hurts. Also, I think that Wells is a combination of all the Reverse Flashes. The time travel element, respect for Barry, was definitely Eddie. Hunter Zolomon, or Professor Zoom, was Wally West's evil Flash, and he was in a wheelchair most of his life and had a connection with Gorilla Grodd, which was actually teased in the Flash show that Harrison Wells was doing something with Gorilla Grodd, and I'm sure he's gonna show up probably mid-season or season 2. The Flash is doing so well, it already is able to fill out the rest of its season starting in January, and it's probably going to get a second season as well. It's very popular, so that's awesome, and I can't wait to see Grodd. I just hope he's not like this CG thing. But anyway, it's been teased in the show. One thing that Zoom did that I remember, because I was a Wally West fan, is he always tried to make Wally a better Flash after Barry died. He was like a crazy sensei, more or less. Because everything that he did, it was to push Wally, the former sidekick, to surpass Barry Allen, which Wally eventually does, and he becomes connected to the Speed Force, and then Zolomon and Reverse Flash, nobody can touch him. He is like the ultimate Flash, until, Flash Rebirth. Still, this is just a theory. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And who do you think the man in the yellow suit is? Seriously, tell me, I wanna know. I wanna know your theories. I want this thing to be an open discussion. I'm excited to know what you guys think, and I'm curious if you think that my theory about 2 Harrison Wells is plausible. Thanks for watching. More LEGO Batman 3 unlocking videos are coming tonight and all this month, so no worries. Plus tomorrow we start our Captain Toad Let's Play for the Wii U. I'm so happy. If this video made you think or you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and share this video with your friends and other Flash fans, because I think it's a really interesting video and a fun topic. Well, I'll be seeing you guys. God bless and happy gaming. Make sure you watch The Flash this Tuesday to see the man in the yellow suit. Bye-bye.